The 1991-92 West Virginia basketball season will be remembered as the year a group of talented youngsters let everyone in the entire state know the place to be for exciting basketball was the WVU Coliseum. This squad had a talented mix of veterans and youth that were ready to get another taste of Mountaineer success. But ahead was a grueling schedule and a series of peaks and valleys that would test the character of the team. This group was not intimidated and kept its goals and dreams in focus. For West Virginia basketball, 1991-92 was a bounce-back season. The 1991-92 West Virginia University basketball highlights are presented by United National Bank. Enthusiasm reigned with the beginning of practice in October. After a successful summer foreign tour, fans could not wait for basketball to take center stage. The first challenge of the young season was at the famed Rupp Arena against fourth-ranked Kentucky in the preseason NIT. Junior co-captain Tracy Shelton injured his ankle in the team's last exhibition game and was not at full strength. Still, Shelton shot his way to a team-leading 17 points. The Wildcats canned 16 three-pointers to down the Mountaineers. The home opener brought the season's first win against Radford. On this night, the show belonged to West Virginia. 5 Mountaineers scored in double figures. Against Robert Morris, WVU's frontline muscle took over as forward Ricky Robinson powered his way for 19 points in the WVU victory. At 2-1, next on tap was a trip to ACC country for a showdown with the Maryland Terrapins. Despite 16 points from the colorful Lawrence Pollard, who wore his socks up high to make his jump shot better, West Virginia never did play comfortable in this contest and left with a 500 mark after 4 games. A 3-game win streak next was a bit of foreshadowing of a bigger run that would come later in the season. Robinson had one of 5 double-doubles on the year in a win over Buffalo. The Pitt Panthers invaded the Coliseum next. More than 11,000 screaming fans were inspired to help the Mountaineers silence Pitt's thunder. Freshman center Wilford Kirkcaldy, a man in the middle, drew up fast as the battle came down to the final seconds.
Here's Leonard. Shot rejected. Leonard again. Green for 3.
Yes. See, I think all season long you got to buy a ticket and come and watch these kids play. I think it's going to be crazy for Catlett, but they're just going to be exciting as all get out.
There's still plenty of time to play.
There is.
Whether or not he makes this shot, they'll get a shot off here.
Wonder if they'll press him all the way down.
But it was all over. Mountaineer basketball reigned supreme. Fans rushed to center court to celebrate an 86-85 win for the good guys. December had been good to West Virginia at home thus far. The coaches, players, and fans all knew that this team still had to prove itself on the road. The first road win of the season gave the Mountaineers a thrilling victory at Virginia Tech. The next 4 games had the Mountaineers doing a little bit of soul-searching. On Christmas night, the team left for the Cable Car Classic in San Francisco. Another Big East opponent was on the slate in Game 1. The results were another WVU victory. Chris Leonard decided to make his senior season one to remember, crushing Boston College with 32 points and putting on an impressive shooting performance that would continue for the next 2 months. With the win over the previously unbeaten Eagles, the championship contest saw the Mountaineers fight an uphill battle all night, only to come up short to Alabama Birmingham. Much hope surrounded this team in November, But an inconsistent December left the Mountaineers wondering just what the new year would bring. 1992 did not start off on the right foot. The beginning of Atlantic 10 Conference play brought the Temple Owls to Morgantown. Despite struggling throughout, the Mountaineers still had a chance to win, but lost in the final seconds. The Mountaineers could not keep the momentum in their favor during this roller coaster ride through 11 games. But one constant remained. This team never lost focus of its goals, kept believing good things were in store for this group. What happened next was a 10-game winning streak that caught the attention and admiration of the entire state. The streak started in a place where few teams win, the Curry-Hicks Cage at Massachusetts. Coach Gail Catlett changed the starting lineup and inserted Marcellus Basie in the point guard position and rugged Matt Roadcap at center.
Well, beating Mass that day was a great victory for us because they'd just been ranked in the top 25. No one else beat them on the home court, and that certainly was a big win for us because it did start us on that 10-game winning streak, and we were also leading the league at that time.
UMass, coming off a big win over Oklahoma, had made its debut in the nation's top 25. But Green, Leonard, and Robinson were awesome, accounting for 45 points. And Basie added 8 steals to solidify himself as the team's new floor general. The Mountaineers played one of their best games of the season before the shocked UMass faithful. Game 2 of the winning streak was special. It came in the Coliseum with an 8-10 win over Duquesne. The 92 squad gave Gail Catlett his 400th career coaching victory, a milestone that put him in a prestigious group of collegiate coaches. Just as impressive was win 3 in the streak against the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Fresh off wins over top 25 foes in Southern Cal and North Carolina, the Irish were no match for the Mountaineers and the Coliseum mystique. In fact, the game was not even interesting as West Virginia cruised to a 20-point victory behind Chris Leonard's 30 points and great three-point shooting. Like the Coliseum, few people win at Temple's McGonigal Hall, but West Virginia delivered a little payback to earn its 4th straight. Basie was awesome with 12 points and 10 assists while having total command of the show. The 5th straight win came at Charleston against state rival Marshall. The Thundering Herd were no match as WVU cruised to an easy 90-76 win. Green lived above the rim, and Leonard taught all 12,000 fans in the arena how to shoot the basketball. He hit one after another for a school record 8 three-pointers and 29 points on the evening. The Mountaineers were playing some of the best basketball in the country. 5 more wins followed over George Washington at St. Joseph's, sparked by 23 points and 7 assists from Basie. At Rutgers, as Leonard scorched the nets again for 26 markers and reached the famed 1,000-point club at WVU on this free throw.
It's going to be something to look back on and look at the guys that are in that list. I have a lot of ex-teammates and friends in that list with Herbie Brooks, Prue, Steve Berger, guys like that. And then, you know, you got the immortal names like West and all those guys that played way back when. So it's just something that I'm going to look back on and with great pride. And, you know, I feel very fortunate to be able to be a part of something like the 1,000-point club here at the university.
A victory over Rhode Island gave the Mountaineers a firm grip on first place in the Atlantic 10 Conference as 6 players hit for double figures. And finally, a victory over St. Bonaventure made it 10 in a row and touched off a celebration as team manager Jonathan Evans paid up on a bet to shave his head if the team won 10 straight. The win streak proved that the Mountaineers were not a one-man show. Night in and night out, someone always stepped to the front to get the job done. The Mountaineers were exciting, and their brand of basketball was turning heads all around the country. West Virginia's record stood at 16-5, but all good things must end. Rutgers ended the 10-game streak in a good old-fashioned barn burner. Suddenly, WVU's hold on first place was about to be challenged. Before the team's next game, Marcellus Basie was suspended for disciplinary reasons. Behind Green, Jeremy Bodkin, and Matt Roadcap, the Mountaineers won at St. Bonaventure before the lights went out, literally, at Rhode Island. The Mountaineers leading, a power failure at tired old Keeney Gymnasium left the Mountaineers in the dark for the next 3 games. Defeat came to the Rams, at George Washington, and at home to Massachusetts, who took over the top spot in the conference with a thrilling overtime victory. The Mountaineers did not give up the league's top spot without a fight. 4 players scored in double figures behind a double-double from Robinson. When times get tough, teams usually look to their seniors for leadership. Chris Leonard and Tim McNeely survived 4 years of hard work to become fan favorites. They finished their home careers on a winning note with a second victory over St. Joseph's. The regular season ended at Duquesne, where the Dukes came away with a 7-point win. But Duquesne would have to face West Virginia again in the Atlantic 10 tournament at Philadelphia's famed Palestra. Despite not having the services of Marcellus Basie with an injured shoulder, high hopes followed the Mountaineers into tournament play as they looked to regroup once again following a rocky end to the season. With a solid team performance, WVU sent the Dukes home for the year with a 10-point victory. Next up was the rubber game with Temple in the A-10 semifinals. Chris Leonard led the way early with 18 first-half points, and the Mountaineer defense held Temple shooting to just 17% in the second half. Even though WVU could only muster 10 points in the second half, the stingy West Virginia defense held the Owls to only 15. It was sweet victory number 20 and a spot in the A-10 championship game back at the Cage in Massachusetts.
The game against Temple, it was a tough game. Them being the hometown favorite, playing in their own backyard, the win against them gave the team a big boost, and the 21 season almost assured us a bid to the NCAA tournament.
With an ESPN national audience watching, the Mountaineers fell behind in the first half, only to score 67 points in the final 20 minutes before losing 97-91. Green was impressive while Mike Boyd continued to run the show for the injured Basie and responded with 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 9 assists. However, West Virginia's season wasn't over. The Mountaineers received a bid to the NCAA Big Show.
Anytime you get an NCAA bid, it's certainly a high honor because there are 32 teams that are picked automatically. Then there are 32 at-large teams. We happen to get one of the at-large bids out of 300 Division I schools. So it was a great honor for us, a very deserving award for this team because they proved themselves during the year. But at the same time, I think the players really get excited when they sit around on Sunday and watch these bids come out and hear their name called. So I know the Mountaineers really enjoyed that, and they were looking forward to playing in Greensboro.
The scene was basketball-rich North Carolina and the Greensboro Coliseum. The showdown was with Big 8 power Missouri. In the early going, the WVU depth was beating the Tigers at their own fast-paced game. The West Virginia bench, awesome all year, had outscored its opponents by nearly 24 points a game. But Mother Nature rooted for the bad guys. With just over 3 minutes left in the first half, a power outage caused by severe storms created a 15-minute intermission. When play resumed, WVU bounced back and continued to lead rejuvenated Missouri. But another blackout occurred just 1 minute before the half. From there on, the Mountaineer momentum was gone. All told, the lights went out in Greensboro a total of 3 times, including a delay in the game's final minute as West Virginia mounted a comeback. It truly was a shame that an NCAA championship game had to be played this way. But it will surely be a contest long remembered as one unique in tournament history. On that day in Greensboro, the lights went out on the Mountaineer season for 1991-92, but they will shine brightly again. What this team accomplished with only 2 seniors is the start of what could be in the coming years. Accomplishments such as the 20-win season, the 9th under Catlett, and the 11th postseason appearance in the last 12 years made this season a success. Leonard, Robinson, Basie, and Kirkcaldy all earned Atlantic 10 Player of the Week honors, with Robinson being a first-team all-conference choice and Leonard getting the nod for the second team. Center Phil Wilson was a monster in the middle. His total of 47 rejections is a WVU record for sophomores and a team high for 92. The 400th win for Gail Catlett was just one of many, as the coach now has compiled 412 wins during his career to only 188 defeats. Chris Leonard, the team's most valuable player, finished up his career 17th in WVU's all-time scoring and holds every three-point record in the school's history. And Robinson led the A-10 in shooting percentage by hitting 64% from the field.
To receive our 11th postseason bid in the last 12 years was a significant achievement, and also our 3rd highest attendance in history, and some great victories over Notre Dame and Pitt and VPI and Massachusetts, and beating Temple 2 out of 3. I think our guys really had a good year considering the nucleus of our club was sophomores. So as we get a little bit older, things will get better, and we hope to do a little bit better in the NCAA in the future.
Yes, the accomplishments were many and the lessons learned were important. This group can look forward to next season as tested, tough competitors. With the 20-win season, the NCAA tournament bid, and a packed house full of appreciative fans, it's obvious that the goals and dreams of the young bunch were reached. Despite the difficult times and the peaks and valleys, the Mountaineers never quit and proved that 1991-92 was a bounce-back season. The 1991-92 West Virginia University basketball highlights have been presented by United National Bank and dedicated to the speedy recovery of Lawrence Pollard and Wilfred Kirkcaldy. The 2 players were seriously injured in an automobile accident on Easter evening. This has been a presentation of the Mountaineer Sports Network.